All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Free Thinkers Podcast. We have a fantastic guest tonight, Gavin, or The Rising Right on Instagram. Actually, probably the most banned person on political social media. And
more than Laura Loomer?
You probably, yeah. I mean, Laura Loomer gets banned because she's an idiot. And like,
you go back and forth every week. I don't hate her. Now she's an idiot.
I never go back and forth, dude. I'm consistent. I don't hate her.
Will you disavow her right now, or are you gonna just?
No, I'm not gonna I don't think she's that radical.
Official statement.
I don't think she's that radical. I just think that, like, she's super annoying. And if I were the owner of a company and she was like handcuffing herself to my door, I'd probably ban her as well. Like, that's my only that's my opinion on Laura Loomer. I think she's super annoying. She's not a very good communicator. Like, running around screaming that you're a Jew isn't really, like, that effective in 2019. I mean, I guess it is pretty effective.
It's hella effective, actually.
Yeah, it's probably the most effective tactic you could possibly have.
It's the most effective.
She's just very provocative.
Yeah, and it's annoying.
I mean, there's got to be someone to do it, though, right? Like,
yeah, the left works for them. I get where she's coming from. I mean, there was the rise of the provocative right with the Milos and her and all these, they all got banned. They cracked down that real quick. Anyway, guys, so we have merch. We've sold a lot of it. We keep on saying, okay, this is the last week it's going to be up because we wanted this limited supply thing. But you guys are buying so much of it that it's making us a lot of money, which is cool. And more importantly, we care about you. No particular order of the money or caring about you. And you guys keep DMing us and saying, guys, Steve, Dylan, don't get rid of the merch. Don't get new designs. We love the original Free Thinkers design. We especially love the Free Thinkers, the most oppressed class dad hats. Don't stop selling them. We want to get more because these guys want to sell it on eBay and stuff. Resale value is really high on this stuff.
It actually is, dude. It's like if you go onto like the Gavin, what's the website where you resell shit?
Yeah, they hit StockX.
Yeah, if you go to StockX, it's like you got fucking Yeezy.
And that's because we're doing the limited supply thing, so the people are it's a great investment opportunity. So I recommend buying at least 5 to 10 dad hats. You know, have
the
some
more
friends.
The thing is, the more you stock up, I was actually going to look at the sales, but I can't remember the login info, so I'll just do it later. But yeah, the more you stock up on the merch now, the better off you're going to be down the road. It's just all around a really good investment. Let me make sure my mic's not crazy loud. Hold on, because I have everything.
It's like, you know, a lot of you guys, I assume, are Trump fans, and everybody knows when you wear one of those MAGA hats, you're probably going to get your ass beat. At least get thrown some slushies at you.
Yeah.
You wear a Free Thinkers hat or a Free Thinkers merch, you're probably not going to get beat up. That's like the best thing about it, and you'll probably get laid. We always talk about this. You wear a Free Thinkers shirt, you see a hot chick, assuming you're a guy or a lesbian woman, and she's like, damn, what's a free thinker all about? And you'll talk to her, and within a couple hours, you're getting head. So
you get that guys, sloppy top when you wear the Free Thinkers merch.
You get that slob on my knob like corn on the cob. And there's this numerous benefits. I'm just touching the surface here, just the tip of the iceberg, guys.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, it's an investment opportunity. And you support the channel because
you're supporting us. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand: there is no money in thinking freely. There's no money in thinking freely.
Everyone says like, "Oh, you guys do this for the money." We lose money by thinking freely.
I lose money, dude. I don't even want to know how many opportunities. I actually almost tweeted that today. I was like, "There's no money in free thinking," but I didn't want to come off as like he's complaining about the fact that he's not.
I always complain about it.
But I mean, I'm not complaining because I'm still
bag pilled. Okay, if I'm not getting the bag, it's like Yang said. Andrew Yang said to himself, one of the original free thinkers. He said, don't let them distract you. Focus on the money. Okay,
that was pretty free thinking. I mean, that was insane. You know,
he's about the only free thinking Democrat I've ever seen.
Well, dude, you got Tulsi thick girl Gabbard.
I don't think I don't fall. You guys are falling for the deception from the thoughts,
I'm not
man.
falling from her. I'm not in support her.
She's just a thought. And little incel alt-right kids are like, wow, she's hot. She has boobies. I'm gonna listen to what she has to say because she's anti-war. It's like, okay,
hey, but that's big, dude.
But
here's my theory.
So was Trump, bro, and nothing's changed. When you get elected, and the what do they call it? The military-industrial complex gets a hold of you and says, "Hey, fucking go to war. We're gonna kill your family." You go to war, so it's not gonna make a difference.
Here's my thing, dude, about being anti-war. I feel like everybody's anti-war until they take. Like, have we ever in the history of the planet
pro-war candidate?
I don't think we've. No. I don't think
yeah.
we've ever had an anti-war candidate. Like, I don't think. I mean. Sorry, an
Trump is
anti.
Obama
No.
was
Sorry.
anti-war.
No. I misspoke. I'm talking about an anti-war president. Like, we've never had an anti-war president. Like, every time they take office, like, two things are happening. Either they're being forced into by the controlling parties in Washington. They're being forced into going to war, or you've got like some sort of like secret classified book handed to you. Like
right, they just maybe and probably highly likely they know a lot more things about what's going on than we do.
Yeah. So I mean, here's what happens.
So,
like apparently, like the sand folk running around in the Middle East are like way more equipped than we think. Like, dude, what's the problem? You know, like I just don't understand. I don't know. It's such a complicated issue. Like especially Middle Eastern conflicts. Like it's just so like. Because it's like, what are you going to do? Like, arm other people and then they turn on and kill you with the arms later? Or are you going to, like, go and invade? Like, there's really nothing you can do and it's not a win-win. Like, if you pull all the troops out, then, like, Warhawk Mattis gets mad at you. Did you hear Mad Dog Mattis got mad at Trump and was like, I mean, hey, I'm after Washington, George Washington, so I'm not. I'm like, George Washington was a non-interventionist. I've never met anybody in my life more pro-war than James Mattis. Like,
he has a new book coming out.
Yeah, guess who's not reading that shit?
I never read any of one. Actually, I've been signed up for Amazon Audible for a long time, and I didn't even know I was still on the subscription. I had like 13 months of credits I hadn't used. It's like $200 of books. So I went and bought a bunch like a couple days ago, and I downloaded because I don't know how to read. I just get the Audible books, and I got a lot of the like 2 or 3 of those like anti-Trump books because. I just want to see what the hell these people are talking about. Well, like, I don't even know what their point is. Like, assuming that these people are like somewhat intellectual, they're not just like NPCs. Like, they have their reason for hating Trump. I want to see at least what are they actually saying, because the mainstream media doesn't tell you any legitimate reasons not to hate the president.
Well,
I'm assuming
think about this.
might have some reasons.
When are people just going to realize that like going after Trump to push your book is not necessarily a good idea? Like, I feel like every single person that releases a book is like they're on MSNBC, they're on CNN, like attacking Trump. Then their book comes out and they're irrelevant within like a week. Like, who the fuck talks about?
They got their money though, bro. They got their money.
You know, here's the theory. There's 2 things going on. Either people don't realize that it's a horrible tactic to go after Trump, or he's doing something that like nobody believes. Like his support base just refuses to believe that he does anything wrong. Because literally, all of like everybody that leaves his cabinet writes a negative book on him. So he's either doing something horrible or he's just such a dick when he fires them.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as someone who voted for the president and wants to see him do well, I mean, I can't imagine that every single person who goes against him is a part of some like globalist conspiracy to take him down. Like, I'm sure. I mean, the guy made a career on The Apprentice of being a dick.
Yeah.
Like. This is, and people liked him for it, but I mean, the media liked him for it, not the people, I guess. But that's his personality. So, you know, when these books come out about him being a dick and whatever people turmoil in the White House, there's probably some truth to it. I mean, how many people? Okay, you got to write a book now. You got to write a book. Like hundreds of people are all turn on the guy. Like, there's got to be at least something to it. I mean, you know.
There has to be, dude. He has to be. I feel like the most likely scenario is that he's just kind of incompetent. Like, I feel like that's probably what it is. I think he just pisses
and very impulsive.
He's very impulsive and he's very incompetent in certain areas, like especially foreign policy. And so I think he pisses off.
He'll never admit that, though.
No, but I think he pisses off. Well, and his supporters will never admit it because they're like, oh, no, Trump is like the best at everything. Like, he's just like, this is all
87-dimensional underwater chess.
Yeah, 87-dimensional.
Everything is. The guy has like a 900 IQ, apparently. He just knows everything, dude.
He probably has a pretty high IQ. Like, I'd assume his IQ is like maybe like 150. I mean,
I think he just takes a lot of Adderall, so he seems like he knows a lot of stuff. He's for sure on something, man. As someone who's done a lot of Adderall in my life, there's no way a 75-year-old man could sleep 4 hours a day and be that high energy and doesn't drink caffeine.
No, Trump naps. Trump probably naps fucking hella, dude. You know he's probably sitting in the... This is him in the Oval Office every night after like 8. This is him. And then Melania will be like, Donald, what are you doing? He's like, I was just resting my eyes, Melania. It's okay, I'm awake. Dude, how is it? That's the most old person thing you can say. Oh, I was just resting my eyes when you're fucking like.
I say that, man. When I was like 14, I was saying that. Like my mom would like catch me sleeping. I was resting my eyes. I wasn't sleeping, Mom.
Dude, the worst place to fall asleep was fucking like church. And I grew up Catholic, so I'd be in church, and they'd be like, "Now please stand for the Lord," and I'd be like,
"You know what's fucked, bro?
Fucking
it's
dead,
like
dude. I'm sucking fucking
church. This is the ultimate paradox, the ultimate Catholic paradox, and I guess other Christian churches too. You know, the worst place societal to fall asleep is church, but it's the easiest to fall asleep. You know, I mean, what's up with that, dude? You go to church, you're like, fuck, I've been sleeping so well all week, and now I'm hella tired. Like,
no,
what the
dude,
fuck
it's
just
the
happened?
best place.
I woke up an hour ago and I'm falling asleep again. Like, what the fuck?
Because
dude?
everyone here's church. Ready? Through him and in him and with him. Oh God Almighty Father. Like, how the fuck do you not zoom out, dude?
Well, then they do like Halo 3 campaign chanting, and it's like, are you not gonna?
You guys go like to like the 14th century replica church or something? Where you guys
that's all Catholic churches, dude. It's literally like it's literally like they're, but it's super traditional, which is funny because like Christian people or Catholic people are the least traditional. Like, why is that so like? Out of all the Christians, and I'm saying this as like a former Catholic. I was Catholic most of my life. Now I'm just non-denominational Christian, but it's like. Catholics are so not traditional. Like, they fucking cheat and like, okay, I don't want to say that every Catholic does this because like they don't, but most of the women that I've ever been with that have like cheated with their men have like been fucking Catholic straight up on job. So it's like
look what Leslie said in the chat about being tired at church.
You show up to church high.
So that probably attributes.
Hey, Cirques, you're gonna get your free shirt. I told you we have to like switch over to the other site as soon as we get it up and running, and then we can like get the discount code and stuff in there. Otherwise,
Cirques, the free thinking high elder.
Cirques is, dude. He donated hella money to the chat last week. So anyway, Gavin, so let's talk about like your adventure on Instagram for a second, because you've gotten zucked like more times than I can count on my hand. So why don't you go over kind of like your history? I think, what have you lost over like 200,000 followers now in total?
Like 170 or something. I don't even remember all my names, all my usernames.
You had Conservative Movement, which got banned.
After that, it was Reactionary Right. That was like at 12K. Mm-hmm. And then it was something after that, because I had a backup for every single backup and every single backup and every single backup. So it's just like, then Real Right Wing, 30K. And I don't get it because I'm not posting anything bad. And like, they IP ban my phone every time, so I have to reset my phone and like lose everything on my phone. And it's still messed.
Do you think they're figuring out it's you every time?
They must, because like when it happens, they'll ban multiple accounts. Like the last one, they banned my personal Facebook account because it was linked with that. So I lost like all my old photos and like family friends.
It's so stupid. Like, it makes no sense. Like, I literally just get up and I'll text you in the morning. I'm like, Gavin, you got banned. He gets up. He's like, well, whatever. Fucking.
Yeah, people text me all the time because people try to hack my stuff too. So they'll send like, Instagram will temporarily like disable my page and send me like a text like, oh, verify your account. And so I'll go down and everybody will DM me my personal, dude, your account's gone. I'm like, oh, well, not surprised really. So here we go again. I'm just DJ Grand Theft Auto, fucking, oh shit, here we go again every single time. I'm just used to it. It's like whatever. It's like there's nothing they can do to permanently stop you from being on there. So it's like.
So what's your, as someone who's been banned several times, how does that affect your mentality of how you approach using social media? Like, do you like care less now, or like, why do you still use it, or what's your purpose now?
Boredom and to spread awareness. It's like I've got nothing better to do, right? It's like I might as well have an account because I'm good at it. I know how to grow an account. I know how to like spread a message. So it's like I might as well do something beneficial with my time if I'm sitting on my ass the rest of it.
Yeah, and there's like literally like the thing is, oh fuck, I had like such a free thinking point, dude. I just lost it. God, dude, I was like on the biggest free thinking roller coaster just then.
I'm just impatient now. Like, so if someone says something slightly annoying, it's like, okay, blocked. Like,
yeah, dude. I've been doing
that. Oh, dude, yeah. I got this from Mike Cernovich. He
fucking
said,
ironic, dude, because he freaking.
No, this is what Mike Cernovich said at the end of 2018. I've taken it full advice, and it made me so much happier. He said, as a New Year's resolution for 2019, I'm going to abuse the block button. And I do. If you say one mild thing, it's like, hey, you're not entitled to anything I'm doing. You annoyed me, blocked. Like, what? And they get, you call yourself a free thinker, Steve, but You're not allowing free speech. It's like, dude, go harass somebody else. Like, I don't have to let
like
you
I
harass
actually
me.
don't block people that try to debate me. I block people for stupid reasons. Like I posted.
It's not about debate. First of all, as a free thinker, I don't debate anybody because
No,
free thinkers don't debate.
Everybody
Free
realizes free thinkers understand that. Yeah, debating is pointless.
Debating's useless.
But I posted this video today. I was this comedian like telling a joke about Jeffrey Epstein. He was like, "Can you imagine like he's like that'd be the one will you don't want to be in is like Jeffrey Epstein's will." And it was so fucking funny. And this guy's like. He's like, it's not funny. They're normalizing pedophilia. And I was like, clearly went over your fucking head. Like, I was so close to banning this guy, dude. Like, it's just, I don't know. People are just so stupid.
I just ban everybody. It's like, I'm doing this for myself. I mean, it's like, maybe it's different for me, but this is my full-time job. I'm trying to run like a media company here. Yeah. And if I was running some other institution and people were in my institution harassing me and being annoying, like, bomb, you're gone.
So do you agree with Facebook's right to censor then?
So that's different than an individual.
And no, I know.
And an individual. But this is very important to talk about, actually, because shackle thinkers don't understand that there can be different levels of things. They can say, the shackle thinkers will say, oh, if you want to regulate Facebook to make them provide access to everybody, how could you be against the Christian guy denying the gay wedding cake? And it's like, because this is a communication platform comparable to a telephone service, not one cake in the middle of a Midwestern town. Like, it's a whole different situation. It's communication, it's utility versus one cake. Yeah. And then the shackle thinkers, nope. The libertarians go, nope. It's the same principle. It's a business. It's a right to do whatever they want.
Well, yeah, but it's tough because I feel like, and when it comes to the censorship thing,
Facebook has no religious conscience about anything with it anyway. There's no moral argument for why they're doing it.
Well, and I feel like there are certain people, like I believe that everybody should be able to post like whatever they want. But, like, right. I feel like there are certain people that the right would want to be banned. Like, straight up Nazis, straight up things like that would, like, want them to be. I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying in general, like, they would be pro-banning those people. It's like the Laura Loomer situation wanting Kyle Kashuv banned from Harvard. It's like the right turns around and, like, preaches for banning and censorship when it's someone they don't. Like, so many people went after.
I think that changed, man. As a free thinker, I've seen this develop very carefully over the last 2.5 years, and the right calling for people to be banned is definitely a new phenomenon because I think the right has given up hope that there's going to be equal treatment on the platforms. So they're like, you know what? Fuck this. We're just bitching and whining about how oppressed we are, and it's not working. So let's just like play their game then because we're not getting what we want. It's useless at this point. Trump's not going to do anything about it. The companies aren't going to do anything about it. Let's just start playing their game then. So it's like
playing their game doesn't work. Like you can't play the left
on their platform
because it only works for the left. Like if it works for the right, like you can't play that's like we preach about how they have no morals or whatever, and then it's like, well, it's play their game. It's like, okay, well, what do you think you are then if you play?
What do you even stand with?
And dude, I see people doing it all the time. Like I see them doing it all the time, and it's just like
stop. Just accept it. Yeah. It's like they settle for things so easily. It's like, well, immigration is a problem, but as long as we stop the illegal ones, then it's fine. Yeah. It's like they settle. They aren't brave enough to like stand strong on anything. Like they just cave on.
I don't think they're smart enough.
Well, no, I think they're smart enough. Like I don't
think so.
I just think they're scared. Like I think they're fucking scared. Like
if you're smart, you won't be scared because you'll know what you're gonna do is gonna work out.
Well, I don't know. I think that smart people in power don't want to lose their power, and I think they're scared to make moves.
Who are these people? Who are these smart people?
I think Trump is an example. I think he's scared.
Are you kidding me? Trump is the person who broke all the rules and was the least scared
when he was running, not when he's president. What has he done that's been like, oh crap, I can't believe he did that? But used Obama's Muslim ban. What?
Well, I mean, here's one thing I don't care about, and like I don't think this is particularly a win for the conservative movement. But when Trump like banned transgenders from the military, I was pretty like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, that was kind of. But he didn't even do. Wasn't it like somebody else that recommended it and he just said okay?
It was Mattis.
Yeah, Mattis just recommended, and Trump was like, all right. Like it wasn't.
Well, that was one of those things. Where it was like that was I think in 2017, maybe 2018, and like at that time, not much was going on. Like he wasn't doing anything. There'd been the tax cuts, and that was it. So he's like, you know what? I'm throwing some red meat to the base. I'm just gonna ban transgenders, and that's gonna make America great again somehow. So then that was one of those things. I mean,
well, I think it's good, like banning people with mental illness, so like are much more likely to commit suicide. Like,
yeah, he repealed that too, like a month later. Like he caves on everything.
I think it's still implemented.
No, it was like 1 month after he like took it away.
Let me look right now.
Either he either took it away or a judge like blocked it, and just something happened.
I remember. I know it's allowed. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
Well,
see.
Trump's the guy to ban transgenders from the military and then go on a global jihad to legalize gayness everywhere around the country. It's like, dude, what do you stand for, dude? Like, what are
Meanwhile,
you
Israel
doing?
has massive gay pride parades.
Yeah, and then I talked about this in the last episode. And again, a lot of what I say on the show is I'm not a conservative. I don't give a fuck what happens because I think the Republican Party is bullshit. It's useless. So I left the party 2 years ago. But a lot of what I speak is this is mostly conservatives come on the show, mostly conservative audience, and I speak kind of hypothetically, like if I was a conservative or Republican, actually wanted to win and get things done, this is what I would do. Kind of giving just an outsider's advice. And the Republican strategy of just out left the left isn't working like you guys think it is, because the leftists aren't leaving the Democrat Party. They're just staying Democrats, and they're hating you even more. Because you're a Republican, they hate you automatically. So why just give them what they want and then still get hated on? So what?
Exactly.
No, Israel's actually super gay. Look how gay we are. It's like, what's conservative about that?
What's
like, what do you
conservative
guys
about like having a competition to see who's the most gay?
Who's the most
Like that's
gay?
just it's literally like what it's turned into now is that and this goes back to like, and I actually saw an interesting video from Charlie Kirk today that I think we should discuss as well. But like, Republicans are racing now because they're so scared of being labeled racist or transphobic or anti-gay that they're like racing to show that they're more pro-gay or more like
virtue signaling about it.
Yeah, and it's like the thing is they're not. Like I am not,
and it's not working.
Here,
anyway.
I will give my actual opinion on homosexuality. I honestly don't care. Just my biggest thing is don't make it public. I don't want any sexualization public. I don't want straight people doing shit in public. I don't want gay people doing shit in public.
Ban all kissing, straight or gay.
Dude, that's
what
what was our list of shit we should ban on the last episode? Like we had a whole fucking list. It was like porn,
the internet.
We had like sexualization in general. Just ban it.
Yeah.
The whole like appeasing thing, it like goes to religion too. Like Christians, it's like before it's like, oh well, Christians are like anti-gay, and they're like, oh no, like our religion's about acceptance, and so now like Christianity has shifted so much to be like, oh, we're not about those things that the left hates or like what atheists hate.
Yeah, and then you do all these things, and then the overall Christian rate is still going down. It doesn't accomplish anything.
And I don't get it. It's like, why not just be like, yeah, we don't like gays.
People are going to.
I don't.
Well, here's the free thinking, and I don't want to get censored for saying this, so I'll try to say it in a careful way. But let's talk about Islam for a second. So you have Muslims around the world that obviously, even atheists like Sam Harris will say this, that people who hate religion, like Bill Maher and Sam Harris, they'll say themselves that Islam objectively is the most violent, non-liberal religion in the world. Out the big religions, obvious. Even atheists will say this. They're like any religion, but the Muslims, I don't know who's facilitating it, but somehow have convinced the West that they're the ultimate victims, and nothing they do is wrong.
I don't think that. I think there's another.
Even though they're the most conservative religion, they're by far nothing they do is liberal at all. They hate gay people. They sometimes kill them. They treat women like shit. But the left loves them, and they commit the most terrorist attacks, and they still get worshipped on for everything they do. So I was like, maybe, these white people who are doing these crazy, fucking extremist, disgusting, evil attacks, maybe if those white people keep doing those, then all of a sudden the whites say, see, no, you're judging us as being terrorists. We're not. We're actually the victim. All of a sudden the left will love them because the left loves terrorists, and they can play the victim.
Well, I don't see. I've actually kind of come around like
they can actually be conservative again because the left will defend their right to practice their religion because they're a victim.
That's never gonna happen. The reason the Muslim thing is like it's because they're a minority group, and that's the only reason. But like,
what's the minority group? They have 2 billion of them in the world. What's the minority?
Like in this country,
that's what they say they are. They say white people are the largest minority,
which is so funny. Well, and the thing is, like, you have to draw. I mean, it goes back even further. The Muslims are on the other side of the conflict with Israel. So it's like, since the right is like obsessed and wants to blow every Jew, the left now has to be obsessed and blow every Muslim. Like I'm just so in the middle of every issue. Like there are positives about Islam, positives about Judaism, very few, and like positives. So it's like I'm in the middle of that whole thing. Like. It's just every side is so biased about that,
Yeah, but I mean, again, this is a free thinker analyzing what conservatives could do to keep their culture, their religion,
How about
their
just
values.
standing up to your guns? Stop.
I would study what the Muslims do
for their religion and how they don't cave and they don't give a fuck what you think about them.
That's
and
all
they'll
they
fucking
do.
Go to
That
war
it ends
for it.
there. It's like they
but they keep everything they get and they invade around the world. They take over Britain, they take over Europe, and they're taking over.
Because what they do is they just have. You want to know what it comes down to? Fucking having kids. Like Christian.
Well, not even that. I mean, you could have a lot of kids and they don't believe the same thing as their parents. Part of it is like the governments aren't afraid to enforce their religion.
That's
like
true.
We've become like the Europe and America has become the most secular place in the world. So it's like there's no one to enforce religious values except for parents, and we live in an age where everyone wants to rebel against their parents. It's just natural now. So when you don't respect your parents' religious views, then you're not going to respect religious views at all. So if you don't have some type of, I know people are like, oh, you don't want the government enforcing things on you, but it's like whether you like it or not, the government influences culture. Like, so if you
100%, yeah,
the government is a tool, and if you want to use that tool or not, that's what's gonna like make a difference.
Well, I think that's where one thing that the Republican Party, it always says is about conservatives, but if you know anything, the Republican Party is just the corporatist libertarian party at this point.
Yeah.
It's not conservative. There's nothing conservative about it. It's pro-corporation and pro-libertarian social values. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing conservative about it. I mean, and this idea that you can't be pro-government influence and be conservative is stupid. That's libertarian. You could use the government to push conservative ideology big time.
Which is what we should do. I mean, it's like,
why not?
I feel
the
like
right has been tricked into this libertarian ideology where it's like, oh, we believe in the Constitution, so no big government. It's like, why not use the government to enforce the Constitution? Like,
it's like, okay, well, the left is using that same Constitution to get all their unconstitutional things, so clearly it's useless. It's not stopping anything from happening. So it's like, you're playing this game, oh, we're going to honor the Constitution, and then they're not. It's like playing football with two sets of rules and then getting mad that they're cheating, but they're still going to keep cheating.
Yeah, it's like mutual.
It's like it's literally like the ref not calling any of the other team's fouls and calling all your fouls. Like, but dude, the thing is, it's like we either need to, like, with going back to the Muslim Christian thing, Muslims just don't give a fuck what you say. Like, they don't care how much hate they get, dude. You know,
and neither does the Chinese, neither does Russia. I mean, I was talking to my dad the other day, but he's like unironically like praising China for like possibly invading Hong Kong. He's like, what I like about Hong Kong and China and these places like Russia, like they don't care what the world thinks about them. They'll just fucking do it, and everyone, oh, you're so bad. Okay, I just took over Crimea. You didn't do shit about it, and they just do shit. Like, there's no gay rights in Russia. Again, I'm not saying I'm against gay rights, but they're like, they're like, we don't believe in that, and suck it. And they just do what they want. But only America and the Western European countries are like, oh my God, we have to bow down to people who hate us anyway, give them what they want, and they'll still hate us. It's so fucking weird.
You know what it is? It's because for some reason we're afraid of being labeled as bad things. Like, I watched this video, this Charlie Kirk video earlier. He's debating this guy who's like, Charlie Kirk destroys an ethno-nationalist. And it's like this guy who's like making decent. I didn't even watch the whole video, but the guy's up there making decent.
I watched the whole thing,
and the guy's like making good points. Like, he's making decent points. And Charlie Kirk was like, no,
he's making no points that Tucker Carlson wouldn't make.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the guy's like, Charlie Kirk's like, but because he's trying to fucking bone Candace Owens so hard, he's like, I'm a black athlete, I'm a black fan. I'm like, dude. And he's like, he literally sits up there and says the most racist thing you can say. He's like, have you seen all of the Asian athletes? They all look the same.
They all look the same. All the Koreans look the same. All the Chinese look the same. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Ironic.
I know.
Pretty ironic
dude.
there.
And you know what? You know what's like the funniest part about that whole thing? I was thinking, I'm like, Charlie Kirk is actually very pro ethno-nationalist. When it comes to Israel, when it comes to his fucking black leadership summit, when it comes to his Latino leadership summit, like, he's totally fine with exclusive groups. What he's against is white people having their own space, their own country.
Well, America is against that. I mean, even my dad went to high school in the 80s, and he said even at that time, you'd have the Hispanic club, the black club, the Asian club. There wasn't a white club back in the 80s. Like, this has been going on for a long time, where whites couldn't have their own cultural identity. So act like this is some new phenomenon is like, no, this has been going on for a very, very long time. And now a super majority of the American culture has been raised in that system. So to go against that, like, freaks people out because they're conditioned to believe that any white group is automatically evil because they've never lived in a world that had a white group. So it's like going to have some blowback, obviously. And then
white people haven't done anything bad for like hundreds of years. You know, it's like, Like white people as a whole.
Well,
Like,
I don't know what that.
what do you mean?
Well, everyone does bad things.
Yeah, everyone
It's
does
not
bad
even
But like,
about
what do you
so-
think white people have done that's been objectively worse than what any other minority?
Okay,
has done?
I mean, we had legalized racial segregation 50 years ago.
Yeah,
in this
but
country.
guess who ended it?
Right, and it's also a good point. And it's a great point because everyone focuses on the past of America being so racist, and we put down people of color, we put down women, blah blah blah, put down Jews, but they never talk about the only way that all those things changed is a bunch of white men voted to change them. If the white men didn't vote to change them, they never would have changed because they had no reason to change them other than they actually wanted to give rights to other people. So
what benefit have we gotten from giving women the right to vote, for example?
Whites are the most empathetic group.
If women
Yeah, they are.
didn't vote,
It's because they're Christians.
we would
So
never
Christians
have
have
a
a-
Democrat. If minorities, like, we have given ourselves, I'm not even going to get into it, but it's just like,
You know what's funny though? Wait, when it comes to the whole racial segregation thing, it's like even back then, they're complaining about all these things. They're still choosing to be here. They could have gone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want the right to be with white women? Like, okay, you can go back to Africa where your people are from. Especially back then, it's like it wasn't that big of a time lapse.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no white women there, so it's like you're in this country voluntarily, and then you're demanding.
You can make the case for Hispanics or Chinese or whatever, but I think it is a unique situation with blacks because they were brought over here via slavery by no will of their own.
Hardly any of them, dude.
But my point is they can voluntarily go back. Like there's
but they have no tie to those because it's been 200 years. They've never even had any culture.
Yeah, but their
from that.
ties to this country are apparently so evil and horrible. So why would you want them?
Yeah, they have no ties to but their ties to their ancestors 600 years ago is so prevalent. It's like, which is it? You know what I mean? But I get it. I get it 100%. Like, I understand both sides of it. It's like either it's been like hundreds of years and you're a fully Americanized, or it's like you're just like a generation away from being like straight African, and it's like
you can't live the best of both worlds. It's like that's just not how it works.
No, it annoys me when people like try to get in like super close touch with their culture when they're not even like anywhere close to it anyway. Like, I see people take DNA in me and then they find out there's some shit like great grandpa and they're like, oh, didn't realize I was Russian. It's like you've literally never had a Russian accent. Oh no, I saw DNA in me, now I'm Russian. It's like, no, dude, like it annoys me when anybody does that, dude. It's
why do you think those things are so popular right now, the DNA and me's and whatever? It's because Americans are going through an identity crisis right now. And it's because no one feels American anymore. There's no American identity. They want to feel out what's my actual ethnic or racial identity, because I don't know what American even means anymore. No one feels American anymore. So they want to know what their roots are all about and feel some actual cultural identity, because whatever it means to be American, like 20 years ago, is different than now. So there's
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, you can go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the problem with like America is like in that Charlie Kirk video, the guy was explaining how all these other countries have an identity because they have the same ethnic background. And like America is really the only place that does not have a shared ethnic background. So it's like you can't expect everyone to just be like, oh, I identify as a nationality, because nowhere else in the world do they do that.
And where they came from, they weren't doing that. They were just coming from I'm from Mexico, so I'm Mexican, but I also look like every other Mexican. So it's like, because my people look the same, so I know what I am.
Yeah,
and now
you can ask any minority. You can go up to any Hispanic, well, especially here in California. And you go, "Oh, what are you?" They're not going to be like American.
Yeah. Oh, I'm Mexican, or I'm Guatemalan. Yeah.
Even if they were born here, they say I'm Mexican. Not even Hispanic. They say I'm Mexican. It's like you're not from there. You have no. It's like that's what I identify as. So it's like when white people identify as like white or European, it's a huge problem. So I don't know.
Yeah, or want to I don't know. It's weird because I feel like we also at the same time like fought a war to separate the cultural roots we had. Like, we didn't want anything to do with that. Like, we fought a war of independence to like rid ourselves of the cultural roots. So it's like,
well, one of the big things, and you can talk about the past and say woulda, coulda, shoulda all day long, so it's almost useless. But I do think that this whole thing could have been avoided if, when they had the Revolutionary War and slavery was here because of the British colonies had slavery, and they founded a new country and they debated about this, they could have said, our new country is not going to have slavery. And if they would have done that, we wouldn't have had any of these problems, because if that was Britain, this is a new country. Again, useless to talk about because we didn't do that. But they agreed to that 3/5 compromise to like they wanted the southern states so bad to be in there for whatever reason. I don't know why they wanted. They left 100 years later anyway. They weren't that good to have in the country.
Yeah.
But they wanted them so bad that they were compromised to keep slavery legal, and they've been dealing with it ever since.
Yeah.
So they kind of fucked us on that one. It's like, their infinite wisdom, the founding fathers, kind of fucked us with that one, guys. Like,
well, the founding fathers, like, again, it all happened, and like when I say stuff like this, people are like, see the Constitution outdated. But it was like 1700s. Like, you can't expect them to make like rational decisions that are going to be rational in 2019. Like, it's just like that's,
Yeah,
but then you could apply it to gun laws.
well, but the
say,
thing that the point of the Second Amendment wasn't like it wasn't a timely point. The point was like we need to be able to resist government tyranny, and so that applies to today clearly.
Well,
like,
the point of it was the founding fathers, particularly George Washington, didn't want a standing army. They didn't want this ongoing army thing. They wanted the army to be from the people. That's what the militia
but
was.
again, that's the thing. In 2019, that doesn't work.
And that changed.
Yeah.
So therefore, I mean, again, I'm not arguing against the Second Amendment at all. But if the intention was, okay, we don't want a standing army, therefore we need a militia to protect our national identity from a foreign enemy. We have an army now and a military that fulfills that function. Then is the intent of the Second Amendment now gone because we already have the army that basically superseded what the Second Amendment was even for?
Dude, I would say it's even more
if we get invaded, the people aren't going to be using their guns. It's going to be the army.
Well,
so
no, I disagree. Like, the Japanese fucking
Well,
dude...
I heard that quote's fake.
No, it's a real quote. I've heard it.
Look it up. I've looked it up, and they said he never said that.
Okay, well, I'm just going to say he did for the fucking sake of the point. But it still makes sense. Like, if you invaded the United States...
it does make sense.
But the thing, even if it is a fake quote, whatever, I have never seen that it's fake, and I've seen it, like, multiple places.
I looked it up like last week. I was like, did this Japanese guy actually say that? And they said, I don't know, maybe it's unproven. But
I don't know. But anyway, like, I would think that having a standing military would it makes even more sense to have a Second Amendment now than it did with no standing military. Like, I would rather have a Second Amendment when the government has like a fully fledged fucking military than have a Second Amendment when there's no military. Back to the point of the Second Amendment, like, the point of the Second Amendment was to resist government tyranny. It wasn't to, like...
Well, you know, I say a lot of things as a free thinker, and some things in our culture are kind of just dogma, and, like, you have to say them because you're just conditioned to say it. But you actually think about what certain things mean. You realize that we're not really living up to the principles that are the reasons why we do certain things. For example, the Second Amendment is the main purpose is to resist government tyranny. We have so much government tyranny in this country, and the Second Amendment didn't do jack shit to stop it. Because when push comes to shove, American people are pussies. They're not going to go shoot the government. They know that. So,
by the way, totally disavow anybody trying to do that. By the way,
exactly. See, if you disavow that, then you don't really even believe in it. Because
no, I disavow doing it. There are instances in which I'm fine with it, but not like tax law. Like, don't shoot up the government over a fucking tax law. But like, if they come to like
the Revolutionary War was about taxes, bro.
Yeah, and then guess what George Washington did immediately afterwards? Whiskey Rebellion crushed it. Like, and nobody fucking revolted. Like, it's literally like the taxes were just like the straw that broke the camel's back to the Revolutionary War. I hate when people are like, it was literally just over tax. Like, that's not what it was. It was over the fact they were trying to influence our government so heavily, and we were sick of it. I mean,
we're supporting Venezuela revolting with wanting guns, and that's about taxes, socialists taking all their money away. Like, most wars are about
that's like
money.
Again, I think that the
it's like, well, that's not what we meant. It's like, keep on going. I mean, for God's sakes, we didn't even arm like the blacks trying to get their own civil rights in the 60s. Like, that wasn't even good enough to go to war about. Peaceful protest, dude. The free thinkers understand this, and this got Gabbard kicked off the internet. So I'm not saying I believe in this. I'm just saying people have said this. You know, the ultimate red
kicked
pill
off
is
the internet.
It's like there's a peaceful protest without the real threat of violence is useless. It means nothing. What the government's you're being peaceful and listen to you. Why would they listen to you? Only violent revolution actually accomplishes things. And
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
What? How do you disagree with it? We had a fucking civil war to free the slaves. We didn't just protest about it.
No, I know, but I think that there have been peaceful protests that have like actually committed. I think if the government goes in and just fucking like not rapes literally, but just destroys like a peaceful protest, kills a bunch of innocent civilians, especially in this day and age, and that gets out on social media, that would be way more powerful than like a armed conflict or like
and then you know what would happen after that? The people would armed fight back against the government.
Like Hong Kong right now. Like they're not fucking out there with signs anymore. They're trying to.
I get. Yeah.
They were peacefully protesting for 12 weeks. Nothing happened. They're like, okay, this is not working because China's like, we don't care about your fucking peaceful protest. We're gonna fucking come kill you.
Dude, I heard
like,
somebody.
you know
I did my hot take Tuesday, and somebody on the thing. I mean, it's not feasible at all. But somebody was like, the U.S. should just fuck buying Greenland and just buy Hong Kong. I was like, that'd be actually pretty free thinking. Like, just going to be like, Trump just like fucking. Trump should just tweet that. He should be like, you know what? I'm ending the conflict.
It's like, you know what? We're gonna put 100% tariffs unless you sell us Hong Kong.
Yeah, dude, I'd do it. I'd buy Hong Kong. Can you imagine? That'd be, dude. How fucking flex would that be? One of our biggest competitors, China. We just own one of the biggest cities.
We would just end up
in the middle of China, dude.
We would just go to war about
That'd be like them buying like fucking New York City, like just buying it and having it, like, and then
they pretty much have it this point.
Well, dude, they have all the ports. They have the port of Long Beach. They own the Chinese government owns so much property in America. Property around the world.
100%.
They say that. Actually, I think John Burke talked about this. The American government uses military force to get power around the world. Chinese uses economic force to get influence around the world. And John Burke was saying when he was serving in Afghanistan, in the same section, you would see U.S. troops patrolling the ground near the mountains. And in the mountains, the Chinese were extracting all the ores and all the minerals and all the gold and all the diamonds. And it's like, what in the long run is actually benefiting your country? That. Not spending millions to just protect the Chinese doing
China,
that.
You know, the thing about China is they've just been like, you want to talk about like, and I'm not saying they're free thinkers because like they're not, I don't agree with what they do. But it's like, that's free thinking in a nutshell. Like, shackled thinkers are
I'm starting to really agree with what they do.
But think about it. Shackled thinkers are spending all of their time patrolling the ground, wasting their time. Yep. The free thinkers are in the mountains extracting the fucking minerals.
Getting the bag. Securing the bag.
The free thinkers are getting the fucking bag.
I mean, the Chinese government is probably one of the smartest governments ever. I mean, it's and they don't care. And that's the reason why. Because, like,
they don't care.
When you think about, like, the child laws where they're like, oh, if you have a boy or whatever, or if you have a girl or whatever, don't even remember what it was. Yeah. But it's like, you can't keep it. And everyone's like, oh, that's fucking immoral. But it's like, that's logical.
Yeah, we should have that here. We need to do, yeah. Like, they should have it. They have so many freaking people in China that it's insane. Like, they had to do it.
But now they've made it too because they actually are having like
now they're having a fucking problem.
A decrease. Yeah.
But it's like,
I mean,
yeah.
What I mean, even, and I'm not saying I support that or not. I don't support that. But the fact that China's like, this is what we're gonna do, and the whole world bitched for 30 years, they never changed. Like, we're still doing this. Like, we don't fucking care. What I love about China is just the fact that they're so nationalistic.
Wait, wait.
They're so nationalistic. Yeah.
One point before you go on. The reason all the governments that we're talking about that are able to do this, not democracies.
Right.
And that's because democracies are not.
I'm very openly not pro-democracy.
Yeah.
I am the same way. So
I am not.
You can't accomplish anything through democracy.
No, you can't because number one, it relies on a population that gives a fuck. Ours doesn't. The only time I hesitate in moving toward like fascism or something of that nature, which like
you don't even have to equate anything to fascism. Autocracy is so broad. Yeah. Like, we've had autocracy in in so many forms all throughout history. Like, democracy is a relatively new idea.
Yeah.
Like, this has been
and on paper, democracy is one of those things. Democracy is one of those things where like, on paper it looks like a good idea. It's like, oh, this is great. Like, everybody will have a voice.
Like communism,
but in the reality, it like, what, like 30% of the people vote. So it's like most people don't even have a voice. And then beyond that, it's not our elected representatives that are making choices. It's the people appointed by the elected representatives that are there for like 40 years.
The delegates.
Not even the
delegates. It's like if you elect, like, you know how many Obama holdovers are still in Washington? Because what happens is somebody takes office, they appoint a bunch of people, and those people are there for like 40 years just writing all the laws, making all the decisions. The elected representatives are there for like terms. Like, it's just, but the only thing
democracy is going to give us socialism.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's because of democracy is going to give us socialism. That's what the problem is. And you have a place like China, which had this non-democratic communist takeover, did that for 30, 40 years, and their totalitarian government was like, you know what? For the future of our survival, we can't do this communist thing anymore. We're going to switch and just become hyper-capitalist now and become the richest country in the world because the government's like, we're just fucking doing this. The people had no say.
Yeah.
The government decided to do it, and they did. Yeah, they killed tens of millions beforehand, which is fucking terrible. But, I mean, our government's killed millions of people around the world, too. I mean, act like we haven't killed anybody. It's like, people always say, like, oh, my God, communism and socialism killed hundreds of millions, which it did. But unless you're just being an idiot, you have to honestly understand that going to Vietnam and going to Iraq and going to Korea, that is wars that were fought for capitalism. People died because they were fighting for capitalism.
For democracy, for capitalism, yeah.
Democracy is just code of language for capitalism. I mean, there's no democratic communist place because
it's such a fallacy.
It's corporatism. It's corporatism.
Yeah.
We go to wars for oil, for minerals, for resources, and again, I'm one of those guys who's like, if that's what you're going to do, then you do what you got to do to make your country the best in the world. There's no rules.
But the problem with going to war is we have so much oil offshore in the United States that we can't even drill because of the environmentalists.
Well, the environmentalists, yeah.
So it's like,
as long as we're drilling somewhere else, it's okay because we can't see it.
Yeah, but if you're going to eventually
global warming, but we're going to drill somewhere else. And again, on the environment stuff, I mean, one, we just said conservatives shouldn't compromise to the left, but one thing about the climate change and everything is it is getting hotter. I mean, I can't deny it anymore. I'm getting a lot
it's not, dude. It's really not.
It is. I've looked
no,
at
climate change is real, but we're
it
not.
Is real. Here's the thing. Even whether or not humans are causing it is not even the issue to me. The issue is, do you buy into this one progressive left ideology? This is the only way you can stop it. That's the difference.
Well, the fundamental, I agree that...
Can you even stop it? Do we even need to stop it? Or should we invest in technology to just be able to survive it like we do with everything else?
Well, here's the thing.
It's going to get harder. Let's deal with it.
Number one, it is happening. Number two, it has not been an increase in heat in, your area. It's just not happened. But it is happening. Global warming is happening. Humans are contributing to it. I do think we need to... The thing is, there's two fundamental differences between the right and the left. The left believes that it's an existential, is that how you pronounce it? Crisis.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Only the government can.
That's the one thing is they think that it's literally going to kill us in 12 years, which is insane. It's not. And then they also want the government to deal with it. The right wants the free market to deal with it. It's not going to kill us in 12 years. We should start investing in some sort of green energy or alternative energies right now. They're just not feasible to use at this point. So switching everybody over to electric cars that can't make it to fucking Nebraska from Kansas City makes no sense. Yeah, go ahead.
We could make it feasible with enough money. Money can make.
That's what I'm saying. We should invest in it now and start researching.
Yeah, we should invest. But guess where we have all that money, and even I complain a lot about foreign aid spending. That's a huge topic to me. I absolutely despise that we have any foreign aid whatsoever, especially to certain countries in the Middle East are the only democracies, and they're so good for the world. But and I'll go back to that in a second. but it's in California, we're passing laws banning paper straws. It's 95% of pollution in the ocean comes from China, India, and Africa. So it's it doesn't matter what we're doing.
Well, it's just virtue signaling, and it's just for power. I mean, if you really understand what's going on with the climate change of 95% of it is from China and India, and these rules exclude them because they're developing countries. China's not a fucking developing country, okay? They're not developing. That's bullshit.
Well, a lot of China is still fucking
so
shitty.
What? A lot of America's rule and shit.
But even rural America is still first world as hell.
China's middle class is larger than the entire U.S. population. Just because they have poor people doesn't mean they're a developing country, okay?
Yeah, they're developing.
It doesn't matter
That's
anyway.
Their problem.
They're still polluting.
They're polluting more than anybody else. Yeah. They're polluting so much. But the thing, and you know what? I was actually thinking about this free thinking take. You were talking earlier about why China can do shit. Why and just it doesn't matter. Russia can just go and annex Crimea.
It's because they're not. Well, Russia's white, so that's kind of
different.
Well, no,
what I think it is, I don't even think it's just that they're white. I think it's that, if you were to go back 20 years ago, there was no case to be made that the U.S. was the global superpower. We were the global superpower. We were it. Now it's, close, but for some reason, everybody still looks at the U.S. as the global superpower. So it's it would literally be I'm trying to think of an example if it, makes sense. If the U.S. makes a move, everybody notices that it's happening. everybody feels obligated to call it out because we're the big bad bully because we've been the global superpower for so long. But it's like Russia and China are like, at least China is on our level now. And when they do something, nobody looks at them as the big bully because they just became a global superpower. But for some reason, the U.S. is never going to... We could like drop down below Russia and China and we still won't lose that.
Well, no, I mean, Japan wasn't a global superpower and everyone was like, fuck you guys, we're going to war with you. So, I mean...
Well, that's because they bombed us, dude.
Well, with this whole global superpower thing, it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, we spent so much money on our military to be the global superpower, and like you said, it just doesn't matter anymore. First of all, and we're not. Like, there's just other countries that are getting to our level.
Because
so it's like, why are we spending so much money? We spend so much damn money on our military, and we could literally essentially give free... I'm not a proponent of free college for everyone, but I'm just saying that money can be spent in
productive ways. We spend so much money on our military, and then China's like destroying us economically. Like, they were just like, fuck it, like, you can have your aircraft carriers. Like, I think China got their first one in like 2011 and it just broke down. But like, you can have your aircraft carriers. We'll just fuck around and take over your economy.
Well, the irony is like, by
look at
buying so
TikTok.
much shit from them.
TikTok is a Chinese company. It was the largest startup company of all time. Like, and what's the U.S. doing to combat that?
I'm down with the problem, and particularly on the right, because the right became the libertarian corporatist right, is this idea that the entire purpose of existence in America is to buy cheap stuff. And that's like the only... We've replaced God, we've replaced family values and any sort of existential worth with the ability to buy cheap stuff. And that's all that matters. So, Trump's going to this trade war with China because China's ripping us off. They're stealing our technology and selling it back to us, which is so fucked up. We spend billions on research and development, and they just make it for free and sell it back to us. So we buy it. And Trump's like, hey, this is fucking stupid. Dude. What are we doing? I'm going to put tariffs on you. And all of America goes, no, my iPhone costs $5 more now. My underwear costs more. Like, dude, we need to understand that if you have a roof over your head and you have clothes, you can pay your basic bills, everything else is a luxury. Yeah. And you're selling out the future of our survival in our country because you want more luxuries temporarily. They're going to bite you in the ass in 10 years anyway because they're going to be so strong for all the money we're giving them. They're going to fucking take us over anyway. I
literally thought of a $1 billion app idea. I was actually talking to like a family member on the phone, and we were just showing, and he's like, yo, like we just came up with this idea. I'm not going to say it on the podcast because I still might do it, but it's like one of the things holding back is the fact that Americans like don't give a shit and they're just down to pay for the cheapest product. But like, I'm not going to say like exactly what the app idea was, but like, I can't even like really get into my argument because I'll just give it away. But like, it basically goes into the fact that people don't really care.
China's watching this and they're going to take your idea and make it themselves. So you better be careful.
That would literally be so ironic. I'm not even going to get into it. But like, dude, China's destroying us. Like, China's objectively destroying us. And then Trump comes in, and I feel like if anybody but Trump was saying this stuff about China, it would be fine. That's one of my problems with Trump. Not necessarily that I have a problem with Trump trying to do this stuff, but I feel like
it's the way he does it.
It's not even the way he does it. He could be doing it like God could come down from heaven. Jesus could come back and like put his hand on Trump's shoulder and be like, this man is doing the right thing. People would still fucking hate him. It's just because he's Trump.
But why do they hate him?
Because it doesn't even matter why. Like,
no, that's very important.
Well, let me just finish my point, then we can talk about that. One of my problems is that if we could get somebody else in office that isn't Trump, but like believes in all the same shit, we would be getting so much done because the Democrats, like all these people, they wouldn't be holding out so much.
Well, then
they would just demonize whoever that is.
No, I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Answers my question of why do they hate him. I mean, that just proves that that's the real question because you just said someone else could do it and they wouldn't hate him.
Well, because they think he's a racist dick, asshole. Like, it's just stuff that's completely wrong.
This is one example, so don't take it as like a scientific study. But my grandpa hates Trump, and my grandpa does a lot of business with China. He's over there all the time. He despises Trump, and he has a lot of similar views that Trump has. Though he's like, I agree. Trump needs to be tough on China. They're stealing our technology. It's really bad. It's bad for my business that they're doing that. However, the way he's so arrogant and gloats all the time, I could save the country. I'm basically Jesus. I'm so important. And then nothing really actually gets done. Nothing's getting any better about it. And he says, I'm the best person of all time. He just can't stand his arrogance. He really can't stand it at all. That's why he just doesn't like him.
Yeah,
The
thing is, if you like Trump, his arrogance is like super attractive to you. But if you don't like Trump, it pisses you off. It's like that. It's that way with anybody. Like the people I follow on Instagram who I actually like, I enjoy when they're cocky and I enjoy that. But if I don't like somebody and they talk shit, I'm like, hey, annoying. Like,
but the difference of Obama is you'll get a very large number of conservatives will say, didn't like anything the guy stood for, hated all of his policies. I really like the way he carried himself and he was a good speaker and he's really professional.
Hondas. Dude, he was
they'll say that.
He was a super
No one says that about Trump. No one says that about Trump. So it's like you're already taking one.
Because Trump is like the least. Dude, I just can't look
sounds
at...
like a toddler, dude. His vocabulary is second grade. How do you go to Wharton School of Business? You're like, isn't it, folks? And it's like you have the...
something's going on and it's bad.
Well, like, no, but I actually think he does that on purpose.
No, I just think he's an idiot. And
no, I genuinely think he talks...
He's always talking about his whole life. Is this how he talks?
There's no way you can put up a facade of speaking like...
I don't know, dude. The entire mainstream media, like, it's been shown, like, they teach you how to talk. Because, like, they talk at a third grade level on the mainstream media because that's how most people perceive things. Like Trump is appealing to idiot. Like I don't want to say that because like some of his base aren't. But like if you think about it, like
no, he loves the poorly educated. He said so himself. He loves the poorly educated.
I love that. Well, okay, but he's appealing to the
poorly educated.
But he's appealing to the poorly educated. Like some fucking hick in Alabama. If Trump comes out,
yeah,
if you look at the macroeconomic
this is the
scale
40
of what's
chess
going on
theory.
with
It's
China.
like the 40 chess theory, dude. You understand how ridiculous it is to think that this man's who runs on 4 hours of sleep and runs the fucking country could be running this calculation 24/7 of never talking proper because he wants to appeal to the base all the fucking time.
No,
it would
I
never
don't
slip
think it's
up.
that. I don't think it's that.
Do what? So he can accomplish it? He hasn't accomplished anything, so why would he
not accomplishing anything? It's people think he's stupid.
No.
So, like,
Well, I mean, if you're... he's done it his whole life, so he's probably just used to it. But if I'm going to come out... Like, let's say, for example, I want to talk about China... I could go and I could be like, China's devaluing their currency. They're doing all that. I could go into a rant, or I could be like, China's doing some horrible things to our economy and it's screwing over the American worker. Like that sounds like an idiot statement.
Dude,
but
a different way is, I think a good example of particularly about politics and conservative politics is the way that Tucker Carlson talks. He gets down and dirty. He doesn't like talk about like he's some professor or everything, but he's still highly informed. He speaks like he's highly educated, and he gets to a lot of free thinking points that are very... You can tell he thought about them very freely and wanted to get to a point. Trump just talks. There's no real point of it at the time. He's just talking.
Cirques in the chat says, I wonder if Trump sings in the shower. Dude, 100%.
Yeah,
Can you imagine Trump singing in the fucking shower? What does he sing?
I feel like Trump doesn't listen to music. Well, he's probably listens to comedy.
I know.
Like, guys, 4 minute warning on the podcast. Actually, 3 minute.
Does he listen to ASAP Rocky now?
Probably not.
No.
He's probably pissed. He probably put on ASAP Rocky at first, and that hit it didn't even thank him.
Yeah.
So like,
here's Trump after moved the embassy in Israel, and then they asked for more money. And then here's Trump after frees ASAP Rocky, and then doesn't get a thank you. That's his two accomplishments. And he's salty about them in the last 4 years. Like, it's like, dude.
Well, let's wrap it up then. So
yeah, let's wrap it up because I want to upload this to IGTV. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this.
Buy some merch.
Buy some of the dankest.
Please support.
Dankest merch.
Link,
get that free
link below. Get
free
that
thinker
merch.
Link in the description, or you can go to www. Okay,
it's too
just a long
Something.
ass.
We gotta get like an edited hyperlink.
Yeah,
to make it
edited
easier to say.
hyperlink because right now it's way too thick. It's just like. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate ya. See you guys Tuesday.